We can start.
Why not?
The options out there.
For what?
Hey, Laura,
Live on Facebook.
I'm
Irony.
considering meeting any
Seriously.
business that was introduced.
Go here,
I,
It never said anything.
share it to your page.
A minutes you can abstain from because you weren't here.
okay.
But like
Any-
ordinances.
And ordinances,
No,
You should vote on.
okay, got it.
We were having problems with this in Instagram. I could stream it to a different page. So it's
If you
there,
want to start that,
yeah.
man.
No Zoom,
Oh, we have Zoom. We just don't have Facebook. We do have Zoom though.
You could post it to Facebook right after.
The meeting's
People
recorded.
at home, I guess, can't ask any questions, right?
No, they can,
Oh,
through Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just
okay,
the
right?
live feed.
so we're good?
Anybody can log in.
Good evening. This meeting is being held in accordance with public laws of 1975, Chapter 231, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. OPMA authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings through use of streaming services and other online meeting platforms. The Red Bank Council is meeting in person as well as providing an option for the public to participate via Zoom video meetings. Please note that the option to attend is being provided as a courtesy. Therefore, if Zoom becomes unavailable during the meeting and it cannot quickly be fixed, council will continue with the remainder of the meeting. For those joining us via Zoom, please raise your hand during designated times to be recognized for a comment. Whether you are appearing in person or via Zoom, you must provide your name to be recognized. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Laura.
Councilmember Bonatakis? Here. Councilmember Cassidy?
Here.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood? Here. Councilmember Forrest?
Present.
Councilmember Janone? Here. Deputy Mayor Triano?
Here.
Mayor Portman?
I am here.
That's forum, so.
Thank you. We have a few proclamations tonight. And the first one is for 180 Turning Lives Around, Paint the Town Purple. Whereas October is recognized as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a time to raise awareness about domestic violence and the resources available to those impacted by it. And whereas 180 Turning Lives Around is the lead domestic violence and sexual assault agency in Monmouth County, providing free and confidential counseling and safe house services to individuals and families affected by domestic violence. And whereas 180 Turning Lives Around is asking the Borough of Red Bank to join in their efforts to support survivors by participating in their Paint the Town Purple event. And whereas painting the traffic lights purple on Broad Street and encouraging local businesses to participate in this event will help spread awareness and show support for survivors of domestic violence in our community. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, on behalf of the Borough Council, do hereby proclaim our support for 180 Turning Lives Around and their Paint the Town Purple event. We encourage all residents, businesses, and organizations to join us in painting our town purple throughout the month of October to show solidarity with survivors and raise awareness about domestic violence. And we have Allison Loader from 180 Turning Lives Around here to accept this proclamation.
Miss anything?
Thank you.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you. Back on.
You're like, yeah.
All right, next up, we have a proclamation for Fire Prevention Week. Whereas this proclamation commemorates the Great Chicago Fire, the tragic 1871 conflagration that killed more than 250 people, left 100,000 homeless, destroyed more than 17,400 structures, and burned more than 2,000 acres. Whereas the Borough of Red Bank is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our community. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed more than 2,700 people in the United States in 2022, according to the National Fire Protection Association. And fire departments in the United States responded to 360,000 home fires. And whereas roughly 3 out of 5 fire deaths happen in homes with either no smoke alarms or with no working smoke alarms. Working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires almost in half. Smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to the danger in the event of a fire in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas Red Bank residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home to meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Red Bank residents should test smoke alarms at least once a month and have a practice home fire escape plan to improve their chances of surviving a fire. And whereas Red Bank's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Red Bank's residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms Make Them Work for You, serves to remind us of the importance of having working smoke alarms in the home. Therefore, I will, in Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, to hereby proclaim October 6th through the 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week throughout this borough. I urge all the people of Red Bank to be aware of their surroundings, look for available ways out in the event of a fire or other emergency, respond when the smoke alarm sounds by exiting the building immediately, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Red Bank's Fire and Emergency Services during Fire Prevention Week 2024. We were going to have Tommy Welsh accept this, but he's not here, but we do have 2 active volunteer firefighters on the council. So I'm going to ask Deputy Mayor Triano and Councilman Cassidy to accept this.
Even worse.
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
So I know he mentioned one period of time in October as fire prevention, but I think this is an important opportunity to the public that in October, October 3rd, RBFD is at Monmouth Daycare. October 4th, RBFD is at Tower Hill. October 7th, we're at Acelo Learning. First Baptist Church, October 8th. October 9th, the United Methodist Church Preschool. October 10th, primary school. October 11th, the middle school. October 15th, Little House 1 and 2. October 16th, the charter school, and October 18th, St. James. So on top of volunteering and showing up to calls and doing that, in the month of October, you also have all of your volunteers going and speaking with all children. So if anybody's watching this, be prepared to have those follow-up conversations with your kids and reiterate everything that we do. And we have a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah,
A
it's
couple times
super
we've gotten to do it
I
together.
did the Girl Scouts last year.
Yeah, that was great.
We met last year with one of the school children and I knew, you ask, what do you do if there's fire? And one of the little girls, she said, I'd hide in my closet,
Yeah.
which is the worst thing you can do. I knew her parents. We talked about it with all the kids and I went over to her house. The next time I saw her, Mr. Cassidy, if there's a fire, I feed at the tree in front of my house. And that's what this is about, because it's like those little things, they plant these seeds, conversations happening. But I give a lot of credit to the fire marshal's office for all the work they do on this and the fire department. But,
Yeah.
it's important.
Right.
Here. You give that to Tommy, right? I'll give it to Laurie.
Give it to Tommy.
Or would you drop this? Tommy?
And Tommy's actually in class tonight, so he's brushing up on all things fire prevention, so.
Okay, we just have two more proclamations. This one is for Hispanic Heritage Month, Pioneers of Change Shaping the Future Together. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month serves as an opportunity to honor and celebrate the contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans to our community, our nation, and globally. And whereas the theme for Hispanic Heritage Month 2024 is Pioneers of Change Shaping the Future Together, which emphasizes the significant impact that Hispanic and Latino pioneers have made in shaping our society and working towards a brighter future for everyone. And whereas the Borough of Red Bank boasts a lively Hispanic and Latino population that has played a fundamental role in enriching the cultural, social, and economic landscape of our town. And whereas we acknowledge and pay tribute to the accomplishments, leadership qualities, and resilience of Hispanic and Latino individuals who have forged paths toward progress and constructive change within our community. Therefore, I, Mayor William Portman, on behalf of the Borough Council, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th of 2024 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the Borough of Red Bank. Let us unite to honor the vibrant diversity along with cultural heritage shown by our Hispanic and Latino residents while embracing this year's theme, Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together, as we strive for a more inclusive, fair, and peaceful future for all. I believe we have Mar, Selena, Edith, and Mateo are going to accept this.
The current president of the RBR Dreamers, and Edith and Selena were both president and officers of RBR Dreamers and have now moved on to college and jobs, everything else. And in true community fashion, they're watching baby Mateo.
Oh. I thought he is a future RBR dreamer.
Yeah.
It's being groomed from a young age, yes.
Got it.
Looking at you, Craig.
I can't make faces out of it.
Got to get a job with Steers Portrait Department.
I have my photography degree, Mayor.
He's like, why are the two?
Those big babies back there.
He's like, those guys have no hair. I have all that hair.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
Okay, one more.
Rick Springfield, though.
This is a proclamation for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children, and whereas 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed by their 20th birthday, and 46 children per day, or 16,790 children per year, are diagnosed with cancer in the U.S. And whereas there are approximately 40,000 children on active treatment at any given time, and whereas the average age of diagnosis is 6 years old compared to 66 years for adults' cancer diagnosis. And whereas 80% of childhood cancer patients are diagnosed late and with metastatic disease. And whereas on average, there's been a 0.6% increase in incidence per year since the mid-70s, resulting in an overall incidence increase of 24% over the last 40 years. And whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening. And whereas approximately 1/2 of childhood cancer families rate the associated financial toxicity due to out-of-pocket expenses as considerable to severe. And whereas in the last 20 years, only 4 new drugs have been approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer. And whereas the National Cancer Institute recognizes the unique research needs of childhood cancer and the associated need for increased funding to carry this out. And whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level, including the American Childhood Cancer Organization, are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support. And whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently, dedicating their expertise to treat and cure children with cancer. And whereas too many children are affected by this deadly disease and more must be done to raise awareness and find a cure. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, do hereby proclaim September 2024 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the borough and commend the families, friends, professionals, and communities who lend their strength to children fighting pediatric cancer in hopes that their courage and commitment will continue to move us towards new cures, healthier outcomes, and a brighter future for America's youth. We were going to have a presentation here from Philip Dostie, who is going for his Eagle Scout, but I forgot to tell Laura that it was going on the agenda. So Philip's going to be here at the next council meeting to tell us about his Eagle Scout plan. But right now, I'd like to make a motion to open the floor for public comment on agenda items only.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so if anyone has any questions about items only on the agenda, we'll have another chance at the end to discuss anything that you want to talk about. If you have anything on the agenda, yeah. We'll get to both of you, so either one, yeah.
Regarding the,
I'm gonna ask you to come on up and just speak right into the microphone, just state your name and your address there. You can have it. You can, see that one right there, have a seat, get comfortable.
name is Ron Askew. I own some property in Manor Drive. And I'm curious about some of the details of the ordinance for public lead paint testing.
Which question?
Do you have a specific,
How do we get somebody to come in and, do an inspection? Contact,
So just recently, the borough identified a vendor that is going to carry out the DCA requirements for the state with the new lead paint law. So that vendor is actually going to be reaching out. Just today, I got a draft of the letter and the postcard that they're going to be sending out to rental properties throughout the borough. So there's going to be more notification coming out about how you can contact them, schedule the inspection, become compliant with the DCA law through the state.
prior to that, can a resident, can an owner contact somebody to get one done in advance to possibly get some corrections needed if done necessary? Mediate some of it?
Yeah, you could, I'm sure right now you could even reach out to our code office, Maureen in our code office, to make contact with that vendor that we currently have. They might be able to get you scheduled ahead of time. It's probably going to be a matter of they want to gather everybody first and then start putting people on the schedule. So, but she might be able to guide you a little bit better.
Yeah, last question would be, considering the number of potential rental properties that are in the town, hundreds and hundreds. If, I think there's a 30-day allowance to, if something is diagnosed with lead paint, 30 days to fix or remediate. And I'm guessing there's a limited number of people who are qualified or certified to remediate lead paint.
Service to the vendor.
Yeah, I don't know if the vendor does the remediation, they identify that. Yeah, the vendor does the actual testing through. Obviously, the remediation is on the bonus of the landlord.
Right, exactly.
I'm sorry, I don't know what the question was.
100 properties get diagnosed with lead paint.
Okay.
They all have 30 days. I'm guessing there's a certain number of vendors, contractors who are certified actually to do remediation of lead paint.
Potentially, yeah.
That 30-day window seems kind of tight. I'm just guessing. I'm gonna fast
I
forward.
mean, that's not up to our discretion here because it's set by state to state law.
That's a state, 30 days.
State statute, yeah.
I don't think when the guy shows up, he's gonna identify 100 in a day. Like I imagine you'll have a little more spaced out,
Yeah,
right?
staggered,
A
yeah.
little more staggered.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate you coming. Yeah, the 30 days state law though.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I go to a lot of state law.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Scott Carlin, and I'm here as an applicant for the Environmental Commission. Nancy encouraged me to come and introduce myself and share a few words about my background. So I have a PhD in geography, and I taught for 30 years with Long Island University, where I recently retired, and my wife and I moved here to Red Bank last fall. I've attended a couple of those EC meetings and hoping to become a full participant with your support. I'm currently a coordinator on Long Island for a children's environmental health project that's sponsored by a statewide coalition that goes by the acronym NICE Check. It's a New York State funded coalition. There's centers throughout New York State led by pediatricians across the state. The whole project is being managed out of Mount Sinai Hospital and the pediatricians on that team. In addition to that, I am this fall doing some work at Seton Hall University. I'm an adjunct there, teaching in their School of Diplomacy. Going back a little further in time, I was on the Sustainability Committee for the town of Southampton, which is kind of comparable to the EC committee here, and briefly co-chaired that committee as well. I could go on with more bio details, but that might be sufficient for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You sound like a catch for Red Bank, so thank you for volunteering.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet all of you.
Mayor, I would also like to add that Scott has experience working with complete and equitable streets as well. So I just want to throw that out there. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Anyone else
Good
have
night.
any comments on agenda items only? Anyone online, Jim?
Sure.
No? Yes, Steve.
Just a couple of questions about 24-212. The cameras. Is there plan for those cameras to be monitored?
As in watched all the time?
24/7?
No. There's the availability for it. However, the dispatch center will have, the dispatchers will be obviously doing other duties. So it's not like we have a security officer that's going to be, zooming in on the cameras and monitoring them 24/7. No.
Did it happen that we decided to do this now?
Well, it's actually some of the, even the funding sources were identified over the last couple of years. Even in 2017 with Monmouth County Improvement Authority money, and that money's been available and not expended. So I identified a couple of the different funding sources that were like, for example, White Street parking lot had capital money that was allocated and that we've already set aside as debt in the borough and recognized in previous budgets that called for cameras even in White Street parking lot. As one example, that they were not installed in that project. We know in our parking lots, we have multiple incidences all the time. And I know Captain Frazee could back me up on that. But, we looked at this as an asset protection, protection of the community, just being able to get ahead of some of the incidences and help with investigations when they come up. So the funding sources are not being raised in this year's budget. They're funding sources that already existed.
Thank you.
Sure.
One other question, will this technology be integrated with cameras that already exist? For example, the library.
So yeah, we focused, the library actually reached out to us as a request to provide for some more surveillance, whether that's even in person or via this camera system. So we're adding to that system with this. And hopefully, as other capital projects come online, we can look at bringing other cameras offline, replacing with the current technology. But we're trying to make this as comprehensive as possible right now, so that we can have a more robust protection of our public areas. I probably, with a show of hands of how many people in here have cameras at their own home. Ring doorbell, Nest, that's something that's very common these days. And right, and myself included, I just think that it's important that we are able to provide this and assist when there's investigations that need to happen as well. But I think people can rest assured that it's not a 24/7 monitoring as far as looking at our public spaces. We have a lot of other stuff to do.
Last question, how long will it take? For this?
Implemented. I'm hoping by the end of the year.
This year?
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions on agenda items only or comments? No? I can have a motion to close the public comment on agenda items only.
I'll make such a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from 9/12/2024?
Make such a motion,
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes from 9/12/2024?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have a public hearing and adoption of 2024-38 ordinance adding new chapter 419 lead-based paint inspections to the borough's revised general ordinances to implement the inspection requirements of new state law regarding lead-based paint in residential properties. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
In case you forgot to ask any questions, this is your shot now. Gave you another window, no?
Appreciate it, thank
All
you.
right.
Okay.
Anyone else have any comments on this ordinance? No one online, Jim? All right. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-38?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up is a public hearing and adoption for 2024-39, amending chapter 64, Fire Department to revise the annual eligibility requirements for the borough's length of service award program for volunteer firefighters. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance only?
I'll make such a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone have any comments on this ordinance? Anyone online, Jim? No? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance only?
I'll make such a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a little underwhelming.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-39?
Make such a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Laura.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Abstain.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Abstain.
Mayor Portman?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Yeah, I guess Steve took over already. I just want to, for 2024-210, I just want to make a note here that the gentleman that was here, Steve Carlin, originally was going to be appointed to the green team, but he's actually going to be appointed, assuming we approve it, as alternate number one on the EC.
Mhm.
So I guess let's just do 24-210 separately. Can I have a motion to approve 24-210 boards, committees, appointments for EC and the green team with that change that I just mentioned?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
I think you got a roll call this one, right?
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yeah, just briefly,
briefly.
he's taken the place of my next door neighbor, Roy Meyer. And Roy is just, Roy and Jane are just the best neighbors.
Amen.
And I miss him.
Yes.
And he's served this community he has lent his expertise. His life was environmental issues.
Mhm.
And he gave willingly and just so broadly of his expertise to this borough. And he's going to be missed. And I just wanted to put that on the record as well, that we are losing someone. We're getting someone obviously excellent, but we're losing someone excellent. And Roy will be missed as my next door neighbor,
Yep.
as will Jane. But yes.
My turn.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
I would also like to make a comment. I want to thank Roy Meyer for his many years of service to the Environmental Commission, and he was also appointed to the Navasink River Commission. Roy is moving out of town, so he can no longer service in that capacity. I admired his expertise. He was a retired DEP chief, and did a lot with insects. So he's also on the Mosquito Commission too. So he always gave us great advice on how to get rid of the undesirable insects that are inside our house that are in an environmentally friendly way, as well as his knowledge and understanding of the going-ons at the DEP. I will personally miss him very much. And I also welcome Scott Carlin to our team. He has a lot of experience in a different arena, but I think he would also be an asset. So, and my answer is yes.
Councilmember Forrest,
Yes.
Councilmember Janot,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Giuliano,
Yes.
Mayor Portman.
Yes.
Motion passes, sir.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve resolution 24-209 as well as 24-211 through 24-215?
I'll make a second motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Laura.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facy Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janot?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Giuliano,
Yes.
Mayor Portman.
Yes.
Motion passes, sir.
Thank you. We have to approve these special events, but man, Red Bank is popping. A lot of stuff happening. South Street Block Party on the 21st, Jersey Shore Ghost Tours, West Sunset Avenue Block Party.
Didn't the South Street
Yeah.
one already happen, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor?
I was there.
Oh, it did?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
they're
right.
giving
This
an
is on the,
update.
September 21st, yes.
It was
that
a
one.
fun,
We're approving it after the
it was a
fact.
fun block party.
And the October 5th block party coincides with Porch Fest actually on West Sunset. They're gonna have bands there as well. We have the Red Bank Exotic Car Club Show coming up October 13th. Coffee Corral Fall Festival on the 19th and with a rain date of the 20th. South Street Halloween Party, did that happen yet?
No.
All right, that's on the 19th and street fairs next year. So can I have a motion to, we don't need a motion,
We don't have
right?
to
That's
approve them,
right.
we just
I
tell.
always forget that. All right. Anyone have any objections to any of these amazing events?
No.
Anybody want to be a stick in the mud?
Okay, can I have a motion to open up the floor for public questions or comments?
Make such a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, if you have any comments, anyone, the floor is yours on any topic you may be interested in. Yes. Just state your name and address, please.
My name is Caitlin Gray. I'm a business owner in Red Bank. I have a business.
Could you just get a little closer to the microphone? It's not very sensitive.
Close.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
43 West Front Street. I have a business there. I just want to put a complaint in to talk about what happened last week on the 17th of September with the Netflix movie. None of us were told about it. We lost lots of business. I was closed down for the day, couldn't get anywhere near my business, and not one of us in that building knew what was happening. Nobody in the other building on the other side of English Plaza knew what was happening either. I feel like Red Bank made money on that. We were paid by Netflix to have that, but all of your businesses lost money. That doesn't seem fair. Could we maybe find a plan to not do it that way next time?
So first of all, I'm sorry that happened and that you didn't get advance notice, and that's definitely something that's our bad. But I was under the impression though that it was not closed down for the day, the road. It was,
Okay, there was a cop car at the corner of Maple and.
no, because when I kept going over to check it, what they would do is they would shoot for 15 minutes at a time and then they would open up the road, because I was able to go through in the afternoon. What's that?
None of my clients could get through. I couldn't get through.
Right.
It was a debacle that was just uncalled for. It could have been prevented. The excitement of it was very fun, but none of us knew and none of us, we would have made arrangements perhaps. You know?
You-
The other thing is that
You sign up for our borough alerts? Because I know it was covered on Facebook. I sent out a borough alert on Sunday. We had this message board posted on West Front. Hold on, I'm telling you what we did. The filming company went to every business on West Front Street In some cases, actually made some accommodations for any lost business to them.
My understanding that even Rita's, which is right next door to the place that, Mike's, juniors, he didn't even know. And that's right next to what was being filmed and where she was throwing a brick with a glass plated window. They didn't even know what was happening. So I just feel like I think it's great. I think it's awesome that you brought them in here and wonderful. On the one hand, I also want to say that that is the main street for the ambulances to come down for Riverview. There was an ambulance coming down when I was trying to maneuver through all of this, and they had to wait till they could, the camera crew and whatever crew was doing at that point in time in order to get through. That's not very thoughtful when it comes to an ambulance getting to the hospital.
Didn't wait.
Okay, I hear you, thank you, but I will encourage you to,
Better?
we'll do it better, but I will encourage you to sign up for the alerts because I noticed it go out on Sunday, but thank you for coming. Anyone else have any questions or comments? No, anyone online, Jim?
No, sir.
No. Okay, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
Make such a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Mayor and council comments. You want to start over there, Christine?
I'm happy to start. Could you hear me?
Yeah.
I just want to thank both the Historic Preservation Commissioners as well as residents who came out to the meeting that they held last week. The commission decided on the advisement of their professionals to table a designation of Irving Place pending a deeper review and analysis of the historic resources in the borough in a holistic fashion. And I usually wouldn't comment on land use board decisions because they are independent of the governing body, but I did just want to note that it was a nice moment in these times to see the community come together and have kind of a reasoned debate, dialogue about a local issue in this way. The Irving Place residents also noted that talking about this had actually brought their block together in probably an unintended way, but they met brand new neighbors, etc. During the course of this. So, you know, as an official, I don't think there could be a better outcome than that particular one. So I wanted to thank the folks who came out. Thank you.
Yeah, Dave.
You know, I just wanted to rattle off a few of the things I've done. This town has had so much happening. I went to the 9/11 remembrance, the street fair, the Latin Heritage Celebration, the record riot. I saw Common with my son over at the Vogel. We had Oktoberfest. I went to the Lake House music opening, which really killed it. I went to Borough Employee Appreciation Day where I lost a cornhole to the manager. I've done 2 drills with the fire department. We had the townwide yard sale, and I went on the whitewater rafting trip with Boy Scout Troop 67. I don't know what else to say. There's just so much happening in this town. I'm so proud. Just like when I thought about all the things I've done over the last 3 weeks as a member of this community. And we have a lot coming up, and I'll let others comment and talk about those. But just since we have a moment, we are entering the high holiday of Rosh Hashanah, and to those residents and friends that are celebrating, I hope that you have a respectful and reasoned reflection with your family this holiday season.
Yes.
The EC and Shade Tree Commission have no reports for this meeting. And like David said, I've been attending a lot of events. This town is popping, and I'm looking forward to Porch Fest, where also in addition to having all the bands for the music and art, we're also going to be putting in bike lanes, and we've been working with NJTPA as well as Easy Ride to get that done. As a note, our esteemed mayor gave a lovely presentation to Easy Ride of all the hard work that Red Bank has been doing in order to advocate for pedestrian and bicyclists, particularly teaching children how to ride safely, teaching them how to ride in the summer, doing the work that police does twice a year, giving out the helmets and the lights, as well as Easy Ride going into schools, teaching safe routes to school. So that's about all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
As liaison to our Parks and Rec, we just met here this week. We just met this week, Parks and Rec, and October 20th is gonna be our 76th Halloween parade, I believe. I think the details were emailed to everybody about that. Also, was mentioned earlier, the Hispanic Heritage Festival, the first annual one we had in Red Bank. I was amazed to hear that 900 people attended. It was apparently hugely successful. I unfortunately was not able to attend, but we had quite a discussion about our next one for next year, and I'm excited about that. Also, we need more Santa callers. If anybody's got a good ho, ho, ho voice, please feel free to call our recreation department. We need, there's some program where we call, during the week, families. I did it actually for one family myself. They give you a bell, you know. Hi, this is Santa calling. You know, that was kind of fun, actually. And on December 6th is a tree light. So those are my highlights from Parks and Rec this week. I did want to comment on the Netflix comment that I don't remember your name. I remember reading our policy on films. Now, it may have changed. I haven't spoken to the manager, obviously, about any of this, but I would hope that Netflix would canvass a neighborhood anywhere, whether it's residential or business. And, you know, we're gonna be filming here next week or whatever. I mean, I'm not, and I seem to remember something like, because this actually came up, this question came to me at one point. I did look up the ordinance and I thought it did say that, not Netflix per se, but anytime there was filming, that there was some sort of notification requirement. So something we'll have to look into, obviously. And sometimes, you know, people miss notices. I have. I mean, I don't know what happened. Maybe, I would think they would send you a letter, you know, or something, or knock on your door. So, and then the last thing I want to comment on, Steve's comment earlier around, the cameras. I really loathe spending money on these cameras, even if it's grant money and we have funding for it. But having been liaison to Parks and Rec, and just watching our bill list and hearing reports, I'm just appalled at the amount of vandalism that has occurred at our parks. Everything from solar panels, just, you know, somebody decides they want to destroy our solar power light fixture by throwing stones at it, to, I actually witnessed, you know, some incidents that I'd rather not regurgitate here. I called the police at the time. That is an unfortunately necessary. It's not just preventative either, you know, it's if the police have to do an investigation and figure out who keeps damaging the bathrooms, you know, so who goes in at the time it happens. And so some of the bills for this are incredibly expensive to fix. So, you know, it's just terrible that we have to do this. Anyway, that's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Laura?
I'll go report from animal welfare and the library. Animal welfare, I did report last time we had dog days and we're still collecting and figuring out how much money we made. And as I mentioned the last time, that they were gonna help with the resident who collected money to buy scanners for dog tags and for the police to be able to scan dogs that are lost. So that was a good cause. And we met with some of the members met with Jim this week. Thanks, Jim, for following up. So thank you for that. Library, lots of stuff here. They're having Spanish language driver's ed. It's back in the library, up and active since the 16th. Hispanic Heritage Month. I actually saw their table. They did great stuff there. They were painting faces and making cotton candy at the library. And it was a very popular table. Back to school nights, our librarian is going to be going to all of those. And Red Bank Always Beautiful annual photo contest is still going on, which if you might see it up on Facebook and in the library, there's some great pictures. Last year I went to their awards. It's a fireman that won the award for the best fire photograph. Yeah, he was there. Yes, great photographer. So there's fall programming that's returning for kids 10 and up. Lots of stuff going on for them. Campfire story time that was in the summer is going to continue into the fall. Wednesdays at 6:30. The Ghost of Navasink, their Ghostly Tales of Red Bank Community on Tuesday, October 22nd. Walking tours will resume on October 19th and November 2nd. September 21st, they had one, and the townwide yard sale, which went on, and the library does get some registration from that. It was the same day as the South Street party that I did go to, and a lot of people from South Street said that they sold a lot of things like toys and things that they were trying to move, and it was really, they said it was very successful, so. Let's see, oh, they switched over their software to the Viga program, and there's been some mixed things from the residents on that. Seems looking at me, I'm laughing, as all software when it changes around, I guess, but anyhow, that's it for the library.
Thank you. Kate?
No, it's just been busy. All the events everybody else mentioned, you know, plugging along. Fire Prevention Month. I think I mentioned all the dates earlier. Have conversations with your kids. And thanks to all the people that are volunteering at all of these events, or else we wouldn't be able to have them. We're just a really, really special place that people care about a lot. So it's great.
Thank you. Next Saturday, Porch Fest here in Red Bank. Get your bikes out. We'll have weather, if the weather's cooperating. Last year we got, it rained the day before and we couldn't complete all the bike lanes, but there's a full loop of bike lanes all the way around town. We also have, Oscar from Parks and Rec has agreed to put the Parks and Rec van into place as a shuttle, because sometimes the acts are far from each other, so there'll just be a steady shuttle loop running around town. If people want to jump from the east side to the west side, that's an easy way to do it. We've also added art this year to Porch Fest, so we're gonna have artists displaying art at a bunch of different porches throughout town. So this should be a good one, and if it rains, we have the rain date the next day, so. Yeah, over 100 acts on 26 or 27 different porches, as well as some areas in the middle of town. I know Oscar scheduled some jazz in Johnny Jazz Park, and Lake House is doing some. So we'll have plenty of good music. Yeah, clear your schedule for October 5th. That'll be a good one. That's all I got. Jim, you got a manager's report?
Yes, sir. I wanted to let everybody know I attended the ICMA conference this past week from Saturday until Tuesday in Pittsburgh. This year, it's the International City Managers Association Conference, and it's 4,500 of me in one place from 20 different countries. So it was
It's terrible.
a lot of ball guys. No, it was a great opportunity to, the last time I had attended was in Nashville a couple of years ago, but it's a great opportunity to interact and network and meet, people that are kind of dealing with the same things in different ways, and how we can do things better and what they're doing that's really good. And some things that I look at, I'm like, yeah, that's not something for us. But I attended a number of different classes on, just for example, on the importance of public art, on how to get federal funding for brownfield sites like our Sunset Avenue area, on workforce housing, transforming parks and rec department, which was a case study on Newtown Abbey in the United Kingdom, developing a healthy city work culture. Crossing the generational divide was a great presentation on understanding how your teams perform when we have baby boomers and millennials and Gen Xers all working together. And how do we all interact with each other when we all have different needs and we all see things through a different lens? Organizational assessment tools and how artificial intelligence is transforming local government. And basically,
He was in heaven.
yeah, I was in local government. So,
Yes.
but it was just a really great opportunity to do this. I was very appreciative, obviously, for the opportunity. I think it's really important to keep that, so I'm not just constantly thinking about here, but I'm looking out at what other people are doing and how they're doing it well. So that was partially my week and my weekend in Pittsburgh. One thing we're looking at is a lighting overview right now. I'm not sure if I might have discussed it. We were looking at this at the last meeting, but we did get some response back about lighting in Borough Hall, particularly with using some programs through JCP&L and some rebates. They came back and showed us how replacement of all of our lighting in Borough Hall to LED would say how it would save on about $7,000 a year on our energy bill, and it would only cost us about $320, $320 to do the entire project. So I've actually asked them to now take a little bit more of a holistic look at the library and our other public, spaces that we use this. So just to see how that would be beneficial for the tech, because I'm curious what, all the borough buildings would cost at that rate, because if we can save that amount of money, but only have to expend that little amount of money using those rebate programs, I think it's really a good thing.
Get Sustainable Jersey points for that.
We're gonna get some points, right?
Sustainable.
And as far as the DPU project, I've been reporting on that over the last couple of weeks. We met internally, not with the ad hoc committee, but just internally, just yesterday, just to talk about program spaces with our actual DPU guys. So it was important for them to have a discussion with the architects and engineers to discuss where things are, needed in DPU on site. So they wanted the architects and engineers wanted to talk to them directly to see, what do you actually need? What is a mechanic? How many bays does a mechanic need to work in, given the equipment that we have? So they're starting to build out that program, so we have a better idea of the actual footprint of DPU and what's needed there. And then we'll bring the committee back together to go over what they produced out of that meeting. I did want to mention that Broad Walk the last day of Broad Walk is September 30th, so that's coming up very quickly, with an October 1st opening where we'll drop the bollards. However, we've been waiting to do this. There's a little bit of tree work that has to be done on Broad Street. So we're going to drop the bollards, allow our tree trucks to come in quickly in the morning, do some trimming and pruning, and I believe there's a dead tree or two that they have to remove that has been deemed not viable at this point. I actually want to turn it over to Captain Frazee just to give us as I promised several times, to give a police department update and answer any questions from the governing body.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good to see everyone. I'll be short and sweet. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to thank everyone for their support as always of me and the entire department. It's much appreciated. We're continuing to move the department in a positive way. Morale's high. The work environment is very proactive and very, very good to be in. Makes me happy when I come to work. I'm going to touch on a few stats and a couple things that we're doing. Our stats this year, calls for service so far are 13,400. This number here is going to blow your minds. Motor vehicle accidents that we've investigated, 515 so far this year. Thankfully, most are parking lot, not big issues, little fender bender. But every time I look at that number so far, it's just astonishing. We've given out moving violations, 2,127 were issued. That's a moving violation, not your normal seatbelt or anything like that. We have over 3,200 traffic stops. We've issued over 10,221 parking tickets. Big problem. We have 32 DWI arrests and we've issued 139 borough ordinances. Crime rate, thankfully, always makes me happy. It hasn't risen at all. I think we've kind of plateaued at an even keel. As everybody knows, I'm sure they know, our bike patrol began back on August 26th. Our areas of responsibility have been primarily the Shrewsbury Avenue Business District, as well as downtown Broadwalk. We hit all the borough parks. We try to get into the neighborhoods as much as we can, as well as the train station. It hasn't been every day, hasn't been too consistent. I had a couple guys out on injury. Everyone is back now, thankfully. So I'm going to try to extend this program into as far as I can until October. Hopefully, these guys have jackets and pants and stuff. It's not too cold. I'm going to touch on yesterday. We did a presentation at the Senior Center. It was very well received. It was regarding senior fraud and local scams that we're seeing. It was probably about 25 of our seniors that live in town. you know, we handed out pamphlets, we did a PowerPoint presentation, gave them information on, you know, how to protect themselves, what to do in the event they become a victim of fraud. And we have received a lot of questions about the scams that we were talking about. It was very, very good, very well interactive conversation with them. Two more things, obviously back to school. I just want to give a shout out to our DPW and our traffic safety unit. They worked hand in hand, brightening up our crosswalks, yellow curves, to help keep our kids safe while they walk to and from school. You know, they worked hard the last few weeks before school to get that done. So a big shout out to those guys. And I also want to address the first time that I can remember in my entire career that we have a full complement of crossing guards. And we don't have to have police officers covering them, taking them off the road. So we advertised early, we were able to get some good quality people in there. So we are at full strength with them. And obviously with the end of Broadwalk, our SLEO ones are coming to an end for them, our summer help. They did a tremendous job. I just want to give them a shout out as well. You know, keeping our parks clean, safe, and the community safe as well. That's it.
Thank you, Captain.
Sir.
I have a question.
You got it.
How are we, I didn't hear a separate breakdown on enforcement around pedestrian crossways. I've seen enforcement being done. I was lucky enough to see it when I was crossing the street. How's that part? Believe it or not, that's probably what I hear about the most.
Yeah, sure.
You know, they cross, people driving, just here tonight, when I was crossing down here, somebody wasn't thinking.
So everybody's distracted, everybody's in a hurry. It's just, it's not enforced. I think, we did do, two, pedestrian decoys, one on Shrewsbury Avenue and one on, Maple Avenue across from the YMCA Waverly there. Very well received by the, drivers, some, not very few complaints. But most people realize that they're in the wrong and they accept their ticket and come to court. It is a problem. I think, we just, through a grant that we had, I just had signs made up that we're gonna be putting around town to, help, to inform drivers, like, hey, put your cell phone down, pay attention, crosswalk ahead, stuff like that. But, yeah, we're continuing to move forward. Enforcement is the key, and I think education.
I just wanted to give you and your officers a compliment. I spent a lot of time down when they were filming. And the people that were here with the film crew said that we have the kindest police officers that they've met anywhere that they filmed. And it was just a wonderful thing to hear. Yeah, so it's really nice when people visit the town and, they don't know you guys and they don't have that baseline that's their experience with you, so.
Yeah, to get more.
Because Captain Frazier's always smiling, so.
All right.
Yes, did you get that picture, Scott?
Yeah, to touch base on the whole closure on Maple Avenue, it wasn't closed all day. It was closed intermittently throughout the day. Yeah, there were some times that were extended period of times that were inconvenience, I'm sure, at times. Or doing business.
I'm just giving you a compliment.
Thank you.
Yes, no.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Captain.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn to exec session?
I'll make such a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Greg, can you give your little?
Take 5 minutes.
Yes, today's executive session will concern two topics. First is the potential acquisition of public funds. And the second is a personnel matter regarding an employee disciplinary complaint. The executive session will last about 30 minutes and we will not take any action. We'll simply adjourn the meeting afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.